Right, so today we're taking a look at MSI's new GP75 Leopard. This is the Canadian version, which comes in at around 2,200 Canadian, or like $100 US. It's actually like 1,600, but you know what I'm getting at. And based on the specs, it's actually a pretty good bang for your buck, coming in line with the Acer Helios 300. Now, typically when you're shopping for a new gaming laptop, you fall into one of two categories. You either want something low-key and minimalistic looking, or like a heathen, you actually dig the unmistakable look of a true gaming laptop. No judgment. Well, love it or hate it, this is the latter. The design's very, I was gonna say outdated, but instead we'll say traditional or classic MSI with a red backlit dragon shield smashed into the lid. The word leopard between the rear vents because nothing says I'm cool while in a public space like the word leopard on the back of your laptop. The weird raised lines on the top of the aluminum lid that makes it look like the hood of a car. And of course, the strange techno line art on the keyboard deck. So yeah, not really my jam, but clearly there's a market, so let me know which group you fall into. There's a good spread of I/O with 3 USB-A ports, a single USB-C Gen 2, a network port along with your HDMI and mini display port, a couple of audio jacks, and an SD card reader. Sure, sweet. It's a big boy with that 17-inch 144Hz 1080p display. At 100% screen brightness, it's pretty much industry standard at 317 nits, but color gamuts are great, so you'll have a good experience watching content or gaming. Unfortunately, it isn't G-Sync compatible, but I personally didn't notice any screen tearing, so depending on how sensitive your eyes are to that sort of thing, it might be a problem for you. Now, after making a few adjustments in the Nahimic audio app, the stereo speakers on the bottom actually sound really good compared to most of the gaming laptops I've reviewed. Probably because the drivers are just flat out bigger than the rest, but either way, no complaints here. The keyboard's awesome, it's made by SteelSeries, and it has some awesome per-key RGB backlighting. It looks great when my camera settings aren't making it look like a bloody strobe light. There's a couple of hotkeys underneath the power button. One of them cycles through the RGB animations, and the other cranks the fans to max, which is always super handy. And the typing experience is awesome too. The keycaps are a little chunkier than most, which I really dig. The travel distance feels like a solid 1.5 mils with a really nice actuation bump midway through. My only two complaints are the cheap feeling plastic deck and the gamery font. But then again, if you're going for this laptop, that's probably the look you want, isn't it? Now the plastic trackpad's a bit cheap feeling too, doesn't have the best finger glide, but it is running Windows drivers, so I haven't had any software related issues. The fans do get loud when you've got cooler boost enabled, which maxes out the fan speed, but no more than what seems to be pretty standard sound levels. And while stressing the system, the CPU does hit power and thermal walls quicker than my wife can hit me when she catches me looking at other women, and looks to average out at around 91 degrees Celsius, which is pretty hot, but that doesn't seem to stop it from spitting out some pretty decent gaming performance, which is probably helped in a big way by the standard RTX 2070 instead of the underpowered Max-Q version. But yeah, you should be able to easily hit high FPS with low to medium settings in most games, especially if you're playing competitive games. Now, if you wanted to do any upgrading or part swapping, after breaking a couple of plastic clips like I did while opening up the bottom, you get raw, unadulterated access to everything, and it looks like repasting should be a breeze too, which is all super awesome to see. My only complaint under the hood here is that fugly jank-ass looking battery, and what's worse is that it's only 51 watt hours, which only gave me 2 hours and 20 minutes doing normal stuff with everything set to balance mode and the screen brightness at 80%. Actually, that was the first time I tested the battery. The second time I only got an hour and 1 minute, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. Anyways, that's the GP75. It's not my favorite looking gaming laptop by a long shot, but when it comes to gaming, it's got the performance to save the day, and poor battery life aside, the keyboard, speakers, and display are all pretty great. But I think that does it for this one. Hope you liked the video. If you did, maybe show me some love with that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Cheers.